12 hours, came home, went back the next day, still.
Hey, Mark.
yeah.
Hello,
But
everyone.
it's
How's
not
everybody
that
doing?
bad
Doing
when
good.
you
Just
enter.
watch that wire behind you.
And
It's
we
like
were
hooked on your
still-
chair.
Oh, thank you, sir.
We still had the hotel and the condos and stuff like that.
Hi, Jeff. How are
Hi,
you?
Jeff.
So we have new cameras and new microphones. Jeff has got us all situated here, so when we go up to the dais, he requests that we give him a minute or two before we start so he can readjust all the cameras.
Okay, perfect. Did everyone get a chance to look through the packet?
Sure
We
did.
got everything.
All right, is everybody familiar with? I apologize, number one, for being late. Sorry. I apologize, number one, for being late.
Yeah, no problem.
It's my understanding that 33 Hillcrest was removed from the docket.
Postponed, yep.
Yep. So we are going to go right to,
Jane.
Jane, yep.
Middle Hillcrest.
and then I am the president of Canyon Creek. Okay, good.
So they want us to start public hearing immediately at 6:30. So
Okay.
Cindy asked us to
Yep.
push the approval of minutes to the post-work
All right,
session.
no problem. Not a problem. I just want to go over what we have here. 3J. Traffic. All right. Okay. Anybody have any questions or comments regarding the applications or any clarifications they need to be made?
No, none.
Everybody good?
No, this new format's awesome.
Yeah.
Yes.
We were telling Dan it's great.
Yes, absolutely. That being said, then, should we open the hearings?
Yes.
All right.
So we still bring our microphones with us.
Yep.
Does this work?
That one's actually nice. That's a wireless one. I would take that one if I were you.
All right.
Are you taking that one?
You can put this one back down there.
So, thank you. All right, call to order. And this is the old minutes. Meeting agenda, okay. All right, good. Good evening, everyone. Welcome to this evening's ZBA. I apologize to everyone for being late. Traffic was horrible. And the impending snow has everyone running around. But we're going to start on time. We have 3 items on the agenda this evening. The first one at the request of, let me start over again. If anyone has a cell phone, could you please put it on silent? Thank you. Today is January 22nd, and this is the Incorporated Village of Port Jefferson Zoning Board of Appeals. I see a number of people in the audience, so I'll just go over some procedural things. This evening, if you'd like to speak, I'm going to ask you to come up to the dais, up to the podium. You're going to face the stenographer. She is going to swear you in unless you're an attorney. At which point, I'll ask you to direct all questions or comments to the board. If you have any questions about a presentation, do not direct them to the applicant, direct them to us. If the board sees fit, they will have the applicant reappear at the podium, and we will have them address the issue. If you have any correspondence or anything you'd like to hand in, please give it to Dan Gross over there, who will, Cindy and Dan will log it in, and then I'll either read it into the record, or you may read it into the record if you'd like. One last thing, please realize that all of us are neighbors here, so please no comments from the gallery when people are speaking. We may not agree with everyone's opinions or comments, but I would appreciate that we show everyone the same respect we would expect ourselves. That being said, the first applicant today is 33 Hillcrest Avenue, and it's my understanding they have requested a postponement on this hearing. Dan, can you verify that or confirm that, please? Yeah, just confirm that for the record. Did we get a official notification? Okay, so 33 Hillcrest, Dan?
Okay. Yes, for 33 Hillcrest, we received official notification postponing the application.
Okay, so I will not read that into the agenda this evening. Okay, perfect. The second application tonight is 103 Jane Street. This is appeal number ZB-0023-25, Suffolk County Tax Map number 206, Section 9, Block 1, Lot 36. Zoning is RB2, Residential District. Location is south of New York 25A, Main Street, runs east and west. Property owner is John and Lisa Betcherer. And I apologize if I butchered that name. Applicant is John and Lisa Betcherer. Contact is John and Lisa Betcherer. Proposed one-story addition to the side yard and a proposed wood frame deck in the front and side yards. It's a public hearing. Proposed project requires the following variances pursuant to the Incorporated Village of Port Jefferson Code. Pursuant to Section 250, Attachment 3, Bulk and Parking Regulations for Residential Structures, the required front yard setback for structures is 40 feet in the RB2 zoning district. The proposed 275 square foot one-story deck is located approximately 30 feet from the western front property, requiring a 10-foot variance. Let me just make sure there's nothing else. That appears to be the only variance. Yes, is the applicant here or the representative?
Yes,
Sorry, if you can just,
I do. Thank you. Yes, John Cunniff, Cunniffe. You need my office? Sure, it's 17 Hillside Road, Stony Brook, 11790. And good evening.
Mr. Kniff, you're representing the applicants, John and Lisa?
Yes, I am.
Okay.
And John is here. He took some time off to be here. It's important for him
Perfect.
and his family. I'm his architect for this little project. It's fairly simple, and I think definitely a simple request. It's definitely not an aggressive application at all. Where, as you stated, we're looking for basically the equivalent of a 10-foot in relief from the 40-foot setback required. And that would be for a front deck, which is roughly about 18 inches, maybe 24 inches above grade. We're actually not much of a railing going on there either. It's a fairly sleepy request. The deck itself does connect an existing roof over porch and would help the sort of the continuity between the front entrance as well as a small one-story addition that you can see hatched in there. The Beckers and I went around and we ended up shrinking the addition, and so we're looking for that little cube of at the end adjacent to the addition. We're looking for that room for a little bit of outdoor congregation. It was a compromise to the cost of construction. So it's, this is definitely it's self-created, but we are proposing it. If we didn't propose it and we went all the way back, there would be zero continuity between the front roof over, and then we would have this sort of diminished little deck that would be accessing the new room. It's certainly not out of character. This house is at the end of the dead end of Jane Street. 106 Jane, which is adjacent to it, I think it's a pass-through site with a very large driveway. You could look at that in the aerial. It almost seems as if it's a rear yard, and it just is more or less a parking lot that's fronting my client's property. There's, I think, 5 houses on the block, and 2 of them front on Oak Street, where the rear and side, so they're really not even accessing Jane Street. So I don't see this as being anything where it would be an egregious or eyesore or out of character. It's obviously no environmental impact for a little one-story grade, deck. I think it would it's a great compromise for the Beckers with respect to the fact they had to cut back a little bit on the addition. And we were hoping the board would feel favorable on the application, and I'll take some questions now.
Sure, I just have a couple of questions here.
Yeah.
And first question is for Dan Gross. Dan, could you please confirm that the applicant has an existing CO for the house right now, or CU? You can just say from there, then. Do you have, oh, all right.
Yeah, Michael there.
Mr. Kniff, don't go anywhere, we're gonna have some questions here.
Do I need to, Okay, yes, it does have an existing CU, do I have the date in front of me?
And does the CU mention the roof over porch that's the existing?
Yeah, so it's
porch?
not explicitly listed, but it is attached, so it was included as part of it.
Okay.
I believe they did include, yeah, they have stored this dwelling, they described it pretty much as is.
Okay.
With the exception of what's being proposed now.
All right, great, thank you, Dan.
You're welcome.
I'm sorry, does anybody have any other questions for Dan before we let him go back? Okay. Mr. Kniff, could you come back up, please? The proposed deck that you're proposing is going to attach the front to the side yard
Correct.
proposal. Is that deck going to, on the site plan, it doesn't appear to be forward of the front porch right now?
No,
That's
actually, I
roof-
stepped it back exactly, I think 8 inches to a foot, just to address the articulation between the existing front porch, and to just give us that one little step of relief that it's sort of kind of yielding to the existing building itself.
Okay. Dan, do we have a street view of this property, please? Does the board have any questions for this
That's not
applicant?
it, I promise.
Thank you, sir. In the meantime, if the board has any questions for this applicant, please feel free to. Okay. Right, so that's what we're looking at there with the stairs is the roof over porch, that's.
Yeah, and
this-
architecturally, it's absolutely consistent with the era of the house. We do a
Okay.
lot of historic work. It's a little hip roof thing. It's put some round wood columns on it. It's actually quite quaint.
So you're looking to create a wraparound porch or deck?
Yeah,
sort of?
effectively, yeah, which is, I mean, consistent with Port Jeff in general in the village. And I did read through the staff report, I do appreciate this breakdown, I wish more municipalities would do it. I was surprised to see it on such a small application, but I just want to make sure I just put it in the record that I do agree with the write-up and the content associated with the report, it's very thorough.
Okay.
And this roof would be a continuous
Oh, there's
over
no
the-
roof on this.
Okay.
It's just a one-story deck. It's not even roofed over. We explored all that cost-wise and pulled back with the addition, pulled back with the roof. So this is really just a one-story deck. And I think there's some architectural set of plans that were submitted if you want to pull them up to help with understanding what's going on. Yeah, so all that deck is, that goes and wraps around, is uncovered.
And it's wrapping around to meet the proposed one-story
Yeah,
well,
yes.
I want to make sure.
Yeah, and
Right.
you can see how some of the houses are
Okay.
24 by 24. There's
Okay.
John and Lisa are raising 2 girls, one's off to college now, but it basically, the whole entire 3-bedroom house is upstairs basically under roof and dormer. It's a small, quaint house. The Beckers have been, great contributors to Port Jeff. Both Lisa and John are nurses at Mather, and the kids are at the high school. So, it's been a little tough and tight in there, and so this is just giving them a little bit of relief. And unfortunately, we couldn't do as much with the addition, so we're looking for a little bit of outdoor flex.
Dan, can you just go back to the street view, please? So I see where that boat is, and I'm just, so the deck is gonna turn 90 degrees before the driveway, am I right in saying that?
Yeah, it'll pass the driveway, and then it will turn into the addition.
Okay, so where the boat, I guess, just for reference,
Yeah, that's where
that
the
boat
steps
is.
would be onto the deck, yes.
Okay, I just.
Yeah,
okay,
more or less. Mhm.
Okay,
Do you know if the premise is on public sewer with the village?
No, I believe it's septic,
Septic.
okay.
and we are clear of it.
Good.
Yeah, we do have to move a gas line, to get this done, but that's another matter. The
Okay.
gas meter's in the backside on the side, so we'll figure that out with National Grid. Wouldn't be my first time.
The purpose of the deck is just more living, I don't want to say living space, because it's not, outdoor space?
Yeah, yes, exactly, almost as if it was a covered front porch that most people would have
But it's not
across their
covered.
house. But it's not covered.
Okay.
Right. But just to function in that same way.
Does
To
any-
substitute a little bit from that addition, I told you we had to kind of pull back.
Does anybody else have any questions or comments? And again, Mr. Kniff, I just want to confirm that from the deck to the street's 30 feet?
Let's go back to that site plan, just so let's make sure the math is pretty correct there.
Yep. looks
Yeah,
like-
we're 30 there, yeah,
Okay,
all day long.
all right.
Yeah, you can see we're 34 to the house, and then it skews away, and that deck is about 6'9". We are to scale, it's a, survey, we're good to go, dimensionally speaking.
And that property, I guess, on the top of that screen with the stone patio, that's your client's property, right? With the
Yes,
stone
it is,
patio?
I know, it
Okay.
looks like there's a lot line division there, just by the base of the geometry.
Yeah, that's, okay.
But, yeah, and they have a little
So that's all their
stone
property?
patio, they enjoy, and they have friends over, and,
Okay.
they entertain, and so
No
a little
problem.
bit of that going on, so, it's quaint back there. And it's all wooded, and the rest of the property is buffered, to the north quite well, and the parcel that is adjacent to all of this, even though we're not subject to requesting a variance, all that is very well buffered, and the house is pulled to the north.
Okay,
Yeah, there's a lot of space around this, given how tight Jane Street is.
right.
There's actually a lot of space between structures and what we're doing now.
Does anybody else have any questions or comments for this applicant?
No.
None.
Mr. Kniff, I'm just going to open it up to the public, if there's anyone who'd like to speak. Is there anyone in the audience that would like to speak on this application? Is there anyone in the audience that would like to speak on this application?
Going once,
One more time.
going twice.
All right, so
I'll take it.
going. Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
I appreciate it.
Okay, I'm not familiar with the procedures here. Will this be ruled on in private, and then we'll get a notice?
Well,
or-
after the meeting's
or
over,
after
we'll
the
sit
meeting?
back down and we'll discuss it. And
Okay.
we may or may not. I can't tell you 100%
That's
whether.
fine.
but
I think we'll just
We will
wait.
discuss it after the
Okay,
hearing.
I think we're going to wrap up our evening, and we'll catch
Yeah.
up with Cindy tomorrow.
And if there's, and Cindy will contact you if,
Sure.
Okay.
Okay. Well, I thank everyone for their
You're
time. Thank you.
Thank you. There's no questions or comments on this application. I'm going to make a motion that we close this hearing. Do I have a second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Tracy.
Opposed? Motion carried. Okay, that's one down, one more to go. All right. The next one is 450 Myrtle Avenue. ZB-0024-25, District 20, Suffolk County Tax Map Number 206, Section 13, Block 1, Lots 8.1 and 9.1. Zoning is PO rezoned to RM on 11/19/25 by the Board of Trustees. Location is northeast corner of Myrtle Avenue and Belterre Road, the site of now the vacant Mary Haven Center of Hope. Property owner is St. Charles Hospital and Rehabilitation. Applicant is Beechwood, Port Jefferson, care of Michael Dubb, President. Contact is Richard W. Rosenberg, Esquire. Proposed new 77-unit condominium development for a public hearing. The proposed project requires the following variances pursuant to Incorporated Village of Port Jefferson Code. Variance number 1, pursuant to 250 Attachment 3 bulk and parking regulations for the residential structures, the required front yard setback for structures is 75 feet in the RM zoning district. The proposed 77-unit condominium building is located approximately 58.56 feet Belterre Road from the front property line, requiring a 16.44 foot variance.
18,
I'm sorry?
an 18-foot, not 16.
Still on variance one.
I'm still on one.
Oh, I'm sorry.
You're one step ahead of me. Pursuant to 250, variance number 2, pursuant to 250 Attachment 3, bulk and parking regulations for the residential structures, the required front yard setback for structures is 75 feet in the RM zoning district. The proposed 77-unit condominium building is located approximately 56.16 feet from Myrtle Avenue from the front property line, requiring 18.84 feet variance. Variance number 3, pursuant to 250 Attachment 3, bulk and parking regulations for residential structures, the lot and width in the RM zoning district is 200 feet. The current lot width is 105.33 on Inwood Road, requiring a 94.67-foot variance. This is an existing non-conforming condition. Pursuant to 250-15A, subsection 2, Part B, Section 2, principal buildings to be set apart, a distance equal to 1.5 times height of the higher building. The height of the highest building is 35 feet, requiring a distance of the buildings to be 52 feet apart, requiring a 17.5-foot variance. So, if you could just state your name for the record for the...
Richard Rosenberg, I'm general counsel to Beechwood, 200 Robbins Lane, Suite D1, Jericho, New York. Mr.
Mr.
Chairman.
Rosenberg, you are an attorney, correct?
Yes, yes,
Okay,
sir.
thank you.
Mr. Chairman, members of the board, as I noted, I'm Richard Rosenberg. I am counsel to Beechwood, have been counsel to Beechwood for 25 years. Before I get into it, just a little housekeeping. Before you should have a copy of what I intend to present, copy of the exhibits that are going to be up on the board, so you can take a reference to that. We've also included the secret determination of a negative deck issued by the Board of Trustees after a coordinated review. Just for point of order, the secret is done and has been done, so it covers today's application as well as planning board and any future application. I'm going to give to the clerk right now. I have 25 letters of support from various neighbors, including the Canyon Creek Association that's south. To the west, there is St. Charles Hospital. I have additional letters from the Infant Jesus RC Church, as well as the association, business association. Just a point of note, out of the 25 letters, 13 are from organizations or people residing within Port Jeff. There are also 12 letters from people who are not currently living in Port Jeff, but want to move into Port Jeff and have read about it in the papers, called our office, asked what was going on and see if they could help. And we said, if you're in support, just send a letter. So I'm just going to give this
Mr.
to
Rosenberg, I'm going to ask you to give those to me, please, if you wouldn't mind. And Mr. Rosenberg, before you go any further, I'm just going to ask staff a question here. Everything that Dan, everything that Mr. Rosenberg gave us is going to be available on the screen? Am I?
No,
No, okay.
not the letters.
No, not the letters, but any
The
any site
exhibits,
plans?
yes.
Yeah, all the exhibits, that's what I...
Yes, sir.
Yes, thank you. Please proceed.
I'm going to go into the four easements in depth, four variances in depth. I'm going to cover all 5 requirements of law. Before I do that, I think it's beneficial if I give you a little background of what's been going on, because it's been going on for the better part of 3 years. I intend to make the entire presentation, but I have a team with me. I have Kevin Walsh, who is a civil engineer, and he's with VHB. He's the one who worked on the engineering plans. He's here to answer any questions you might have. Most importantly, I have Michael Dubb, who's the president, chair, and founder of Beechwood Organization. Again, we're going to make ourselves available to any questions you might have. In addition, Christine Flaherty, who's the senior vice president of Catholic Health Real Estate, is here, as is Jim O'Connor, the president of St. Charles. And the reason why Ms. Flaherty and Mr. O'Connor are here is this is very important to Catholic Health, to St. Charles, to consummate our transaction. And I'll go a little bit in depth there, but all these people remain available. Any questions you folks have, the more information we could give you, the better it is for us. Briefly, Beechwood Organization is one of Long Island or New York State's largest developers. It is locally owned by Michael and his son Stephen. They're the majority owners. They've been in business, Michael's been in business for 40 years. I believe Stephen's been here close to 20 years. Michael and Stephen, as I said, are the majority principals, and they're Long Island based. They're residents of Long Island. Out of the company, all owners are Long Island based. In addition, over 95% of the employees of Beechwood that work directly for Beechwood are Long Island based. Beechwood utilizes local trades. Beechwood utilizes local suppliers. Point being is Beechwood is, although it's a family-run business, it is entirely in this area. In addition, they've expanded to Saratoga, New York, as well as North Carolina. Just as far as rankings and what have you, in the most recent builder's ranking, Beechwood is #1 in closings in New York, and they're in the top 100 of housing giants as determined by various trade magazines. This is slide 1, Rob? Okay. The property in question is circled in red. It's approximately 9.97 acres. You can see it's irregularly shaped. It looks like a triangle, but if you see at the bottom, there's about 100-foot along Inwood Road on the south part of the property.
Mr. Rosenberg, can he zoom in just a little bit on that, please, if possible, or make that bigger? Perfect, thank you.
Okay. So following the red dot, right there is the south part of the property, which is Inwood Road. It's at the corner of Myrtle Avenue and Belterre Road, just for the record. It's on the land and tax map of Suffolk County as District 206, Section 13, Block 1, Lot 8.1 and 9.1. It's located in a part of the village where there's currently multifamily as well as medical and institutional. So to the north of the property line is St. Charles Hospital right there. Just as point of reference, St. Charles president is here, we'll be talking, and we have a letter of support for the application. To the east of the property is Belterre Road, are 2 rental complexes. One is Fairfield, and at the very bottom is Maple Crest. On the south part of the property is Canyon Creek. Canyon Creek has given a letter of support also. I was told that the president would be here, but I do not see him yet. Oh, okay. My apologies, Phil. Didn't recognize you. And on the west, there is the balance of St. Charles Hospital. Just to give you a little background on the Beechwood transaction, Mary Haven closed in 2000. One of the reasons it closed was the main building was somewhat dilapidated, and that's to be generous. Lead-based paint, mold, asbestos. To restore that building, Catholic Health estimated in excess of $12 million, so instead they put it on the market. They put it pursuant to an RFP, which is a request for proposals, and RFQ, which is a request for qualifications. Put it out to the real estate community. Beechwood was designated. I believe one of the reasons Beechwood was designated is we were the sole developer that came in and said, we're going to do for sale housing. Not rental, no IDA, for sale condominium development. Let's go to slide 2, Rob, please. That's the overlook of the property. It was taken a couple of years ago. The only thing that's changed is there's no cars, and the main building is a little bit more dilapidated. When we became under contract, we met with the prior administration, and there were discussions of keeping the existing building, which I'll just show is the red roof, and restoring it. Due to the large cost, the enormous cost of it, we had needed an increase of yield, which would have been 179 units. In addition, we would need to bring buildings 4 stories. The old administration had a public hearing. The public rejected it outright. At the time of the public hearing, Mr. Velasquez, who's the president of Canyon Creek, there was an article with him in the paper about his objection to the property. After that was withdrawn, there was a new administration. We reached out to the public again. We reached out to Canyon Creek. We explained the situation, and we gave him our development ideas. He gave us their development ideas, and we agreed on for sale housing, no greater than 35 feet. I would be expanding on the southerly side where there is a roadway. I would provide for a 50-foot setback, even though 40-foot was required by code. if I did get to the RM resources. On the westerly side, we agreed to keep that area in the way it is currently. We were going to keep it natural, and that's the cause of one of our variances, which we'll talk about shortly. In addition, on the easterly side along Belterre Road, that area, Rob, let's go to the next one, please. Let's go to the one after that. That's the green belt that exists, that is current, that's going to stay. As part of the new application that we presented to the Board of Zoning Appeals, and we met with the planning board first, we showed this development scheme, and there were a number of variances. There were 7 to begin with. After speaking to planning staff, Board of Trustees, we eliminated 3 variances from the top, leaving the last 4 variances. You'll notice here that between each building, it's 35 feet, okay? That's the distance between buildings. In addition, the variances, I'm going to go over one-on-one, is the depth, which is 103 on the southerly part, and then there is a 75-foot front yard setback along Myrtle and a 75-foot setback along Belterre. I want to be clear that those 75 feet, let's go backwards, Rob, a second, to the elevation, please. Okay. That 75 feet and the variances allow us to build on the disturbed part. We are not going to take down any additional trees or areas other than a miscellaneous tree here or there.
Mr. Rosen, I just want to make sure I understand something. The aerial as it stands now, and then when Rob went 2 slides forward, that is the same representation of the vegetation that's in that area?
Yes.
Okay.
In fact, to make it clearer, Rob, would you go to number 6? This shows the layout of the site plan over the top. You can tell on the areas that all of the disturbed area is where we're building on. In addition to the south along Canyon Creek, where there was parking areas, it's now going to be backyards. Go to the one right before, Rob, please. The red line along Myrtle Avenue shows where the 75 feet are, okay? You can see that for the majority of that, and it's approximately a length of about 800 feet, give or take. The majority, we do not require a variance. It's just at the front 2 buildings. And one of the reasons we need the variance is because if you look at the southwesterly part of the property, that green area, we have the right to build. It falls within the setbacks, but we want to keep it natural, and therefore we need to compress, and by compressing, we therefore need the variances. Had we utilized this property and had we reduced the setback to Canyon Creek on the south, we would have more room, but we wanted to keep as much vegetation and natural as possible. And that's where the main theme work of the development came.
Mr. Rosenberg, just a question for you. So on this drawing where Canyon Creek meets, that proper survey line is the existing non-conforming to the left, to your
To the
left?
left, the
Yeah.
103 is the
Right,
one.
that's one of your, that's the existing non-conformance right now.
Right.
That's one of the variances.
Right, and my apologies, I'm just giving, I figure the best way is to give you the facts and go over one.
No,
by
I'm
one.
just trying to
Okay.
address the variances as you
Happy
bring
to
up
answer any
information.
questions. This application went before the Board of Trustees. First, it went before the Planning Board. The Board of Trustees issued the negative deck before you, which indicates no further environmental review is necessary. They then approved the application subject to conditions. I'm just going to read a few of the conditions quickly for you, just to give you the flavor. The development will consist of 77 for-sale residential units. So the density has been set at 77. A 55 natural undisturbed perimeter buffer along the westerly side along Myrtle Avenue, with the exceptions of sidewalks and retaining walls if necessary along Myrtle. Based upon that grant, the entire westerly side that is in green remains in perpetuity, as well as this area right here, which is the area, again, that's within the 55-foot. A 55 natural on the westerly side by Belterre, with the exception of retaining walls if necessary. The planning board and the board of trustees were extremely concerned about drainage. We've done preliminary drainage plans. It'll be subject to all municipal approvals, but we covenant that the on-site drainage system will be designed to handle a 100-year storm with all on-site drainage facilities, meaning all water has to stay on our property and will accommodate a 9-inch precipitation event over a 24-hour period. That we're going to further vet with the planning board, but we've committed to it. And in addition, because we are a condominium association, we or the association later on are responsible for the drainage system. The village will not be responsible. Likewise, the interior roadways are going to be maintained by the condominium association, as is recreational facilities, as is traffic lights. The internal roadways and streetlights will be maintained by the condominium association. The access for the proposed development is subject to planning board review, but there will be only one point of access. At one point, they were talking about 2 points of access, but that would have maybe we would have to go through the buffer along Belterre Avenue, destroy some trees, reconfigure, and then have another entrance on there. Want to keep in mind that the property, as is, had over 400 visitors on a regular basis with one matter of ingress and egress over the course of approximately 100 years. That really gives you the flavor of the background. With your permission, I'd like to just address variances one-on-one. I know it might be painful, but my apologies. I want to comply with the law and make your job as easy as possible. We speak about minimum lot depth. Rob, go to slot 3 if we have. Okay, minimum lot depth at the southerly part is 103.33. There's 200 feet is the requirement. Now keep in mind one thing. The definition, according to the village code, is minimum distance between the street to the rear lot. So if you're looking, you see the 100, clearly, even before you get out of our natural area, it's more than 200 feet. It's irregular, it's existing, it's non-conforming, it's been there for over 100 years. Under the 5 criteria, whether an undesirable change will be produced in the character of the neighborhood or a detriment to nearby properties. As you can see, the property is irregularly shaped. If there was a front yard along Belterre and Myrtle, that would be considered a side yard where the setback would be 40 feet. Because it's considered frontage, it's 75 feet. There's an existing condition, as I indicated, which has existed all the periods of time. Therefore, based upon the fact it's been there for approximately 100 years, no undesirable change would result to the character of the neighborhood or the community. Whether the benefits sought by the applicant can be achieved by some other method. The existing condition, again, is irregular. There's no method for us to pursue other than an area variance. Whether the requested area is substantial. Once again, you're talking about, my apologies, you're talking about 103.33, 30 feet in, it's 200 feet, as it is pretty much the entire piece of property. So due to the existing condition, this would have no impact on the physical or environmental condition. Whether the alleged difficulty was self-created, we all know self-created is a consideration, but it's not necessarily preclude the granting. This isn't self-created. This is the way the property's been. It's been developed previously for over 100 years. The minimum front yard setback along Belterre by code is 75, we provide by 58.56. Rob, go to the next page, please. As you can see, this area here is where, let's go to 8, I think, the overlay, please. We've developed over the developed parcel. We have not developed anything other. In addition, there is a tremendous slope from Belterre looking at the site. It goes from approximately 80 feet at the southerly end of the site to approximately 20 at the beginning. So therefore, you are looking up, and you are looking up 80 feet.
Mr. Rosenberg, you're talking about Myrtle Avenue, not...
I'm sorry, my apologies.
Okay, I
Yes,
just...
thank you, sir.
Not a problem.
On Belterre,
That's
one of the
Myrtle.
concerns of planning was, what are you gonna see from Belterre? We don't believe you're gonna see
That's-
anything.
Sir, that's Myrtle.
Myrtle, I'm sorry.
All right, I just want, for the record.
Thank you. What are you gonna see from Myrtle? You're looking up 80 feet. You're not gonna see much. If you expect to go to the planning board, we have committed to do landscaping either along Myrtle or on the top of the property. In any case, you won't be able to see it from Myrtle to the extent you can. Across the street from us is hospital parking. St. Charles, it is within the 75-foot buffer. The hospital is an institutional use that operates 24 hours per day, 7 days a week. Therefore, front yard setback of the proposed condominium will not adversely affect any operations at the hospital. Whether the benefits sought by can be achieved by some other method feasible. Once again, we have the large demolition costs. Once again, we are in contract with Catholic Health. Our contract provides a yield provision. Without approvals, our contract doesn't, we do not close. After we receive the zoning approval, we'll be here before you folks for variances, and then we'll proceed to planning. But in any case, the grant that was given by the Board of Trustees was 77 units. We've designed this property to limit clearing. We've designed this property with the neighbors to the south in mind. Once again, instead of a 40-foot, I have a 50-foot buffer. And we've designed it that the requested variances, we believe, are not substantial. And right now, I still am talking about Myrtle. Whether the proposed variance will have an adverse effect on physical condition of the neighborhood or district, once again, St. Charles, across the street, 24 hours a day. Granting variance won't have any adverse effect on them. Whether the alleged difficulty was self-created. Partially self-created, partially in respect of the environment and the requests of the Board of Trustees and Planning Board to try to keep as many trees and not go into undisturbed areas at all. Going over to Belterre, and again, my apologies for confusing it with Myrtle. Belterre is approximately 700 feet long, adjacent to the property. In addition, Belterre has slope also from 18 feet to the southeasterly side to around 6 to 8 feet to the northerly side. As you can tell from before, Rob showed the one before, that is the line where the variance line is. We are seeking around a 12 to 15-foot variance depending on where you are at the time. Once again, now you're looking down of the property rather than from up at the property. So the way that we can shield the development is putting plantings along Belterre. There is a 10-foot strip that is owned by the village. Within that strip, it's flat enough where we could do a row of arborvitae or whatever else the planning board would like us to do. If this board would like us to covenant as far as a natural buffer, we're happy to do so. It's our intention, and we fully believe we're gonna be required to do so. Across, let's go let's go where we show up, Maple Crest, okay. Across is Fairfield and Maple Crest. Fairfield is approximately 48 feet from the property line. Maple Crest is closer to that. We are anywhere between 50 feet, and in addition, one of our structures already is within the 75-foot guideline. So as far as the change in the character of the community, we believe that the front yard setback, as opposed to across the street, will not negatively affect. And the buildings on the east side of the property, as I indicated, are already within the 75-foot area. The granting of this variance will not create an undesirable change in the character. Whether the benefits sought by the applicant can be achieved by some other method, once again, we have the demolition costs, we have the same arguments as far as Myrtle, trying to keep as many trees as possible, trying to respect the boundary to the south, and trying to get to a yield that does make sense in accordance with our contract. Just as an FYI, the original proposal before the village, and it wasn't rejected, was 179 units, and it was 4 stories. We're at 35 feet high, which is the same as the development to the south. Whether the proposed variance will have an adverse effect or impact, the front setbacks are similar, in fact, slightly bigger what we have than Fairfield and Maple Crest across the street. Moreover, the subject property, as we all know, is deteriorating. Thus, granting the variance will not adversely affect the physical or environmental conditions. Whether the alleged difficulty was self-created, once again, yes, partially, but it's done the only way this property can be developed with this huge main building on that requires demolition, as well as the contract that we have with Catholic Health Services. Rob, let's go to slide. Let's go to slide 3, please, first. The distance between buildings. The distance between each building is 35 feet. The code requires 1.5 times the height of the building. The buildings that we propose are 35 feet, leading to 52.5 feet. Go to slide 5, please. The chart. We had VHB check every residential condominium community in an RM district to determine the distance between buildings, because we felt the 52 not only was large, we didn't see anywhere. We have current developments in town of Hempstead, town of Brookhaven, town of Southampton. None of them reach a 52 feet. As far as what you're looking at right now, there are 13 developments that fall within this RM code, and out of them, 10 are below 35 feet, 2 are 35 or 36 feet, and 1 is 42 feet. There is no development within the village of Port Jefferson that has a 52 feet distance between buildings. In your chart at the back, the chart of the presentation, there are pictures of each and every one of the 13 developments that I show there that shows the setback and the distance between the buildings. Whether an undesirable change will be produced by the character or neighborhood. Right now, on the existing building, let's go to 2, please. I'm sorry for bouncing around, folks, just going back and forth. The existing distance between the buildings is 28 feet, so it exists already. So it's not changing the character of the community. Across the street, as we indicated, the development is less than 52 feet also. So because the property is irregularly shaped, because of the existing condition of the property, because of the setbacks and the natural vegetation buffer that's going to be there, nobody's gonna know what's on this property, and nonetheless, it still is not, it still is 35 feet, which is as close to at least 12 of the 13 developments within the village. whether whether the benefits sought by the applicant can be achieved by some other method. The board established the yield at 77. That was done after a long discussion, negotiation, as well as conferences with Catholic Health determining how Catholic Health could sell the property and under what conditions they could. It's not feasible to further reduce the density. An area variance is the only way to do the requested setback between buildings. The requested area variance is substantial. Is it substantial? No. 28.3 on the existing buildings, across the street, and elsewhere within the community. It is substantially below 52, as I indicated. There's only one at 42, everything else is 35, 36. Whether the proposed variance will have an adverse effect or impact in the neighborhood or district, once again, the distance of 35 is actually greater than in Brookhaven, in Huntington, and Smithtown. We comply with the RM district in other places. Whether it's self-created, the minimum distance buildings is 28.5. Yes, it can be argued it's self-created, but in order to reach the numerous goals, the variance was required. Just before I end, the proposed action that we're asking for is to transform an unoccupied building that is off the tax rolls into a luxurious 77-unit condominium, which will be on the tax rolls, which will not have an impact on traffic because, as we indicated, there were 400 units on the property beforehand. We did a full traffic study, and that's taken and addressed in the neg deck that I provided to you. We didn't create the existing condition. It's a challenging site due to the irregular shape of it. The variances I maintain, and I believe I proved, are not substantial. They've not produced an undesirable change in the character of the community, would not have an adverse effect on the physical and environmental conditions. Lastly, the benefit to the applicant, if the variance is granted, far exceeds any detriment, if any, to the health, safety, or neighborhood and community. I know I went over a lot. You have questions. The one person that I did want to address you, if now is appropriate, Chairman, is Mr. Okada from Catholic Health.
If you could just hold that for 1 second.
Right.
Jim's more than welcome to come speak in front of us, but I do want to give, is there anyone from the public, all the slides that we have have been up on but is there anybody that wants to see the letters of support or the proposed package or I should say proposed, the package the applicant gave us? I can take a 10-minute recess and let people look at it. If there is, nobody wants, if that's not the case, then I'll continue on with the hearing. Going once, going twice. Before we bring the public up, let us ask you some questions, and then I'll open up to everyone that wants to speak.
Glad.
I just want to stay with the technical portion of it right now.
Sure.
If you can go back to your site plan, please. The one that's over yes, that one there. So that one, so again, what I'm looking at here is the proposed buildings over I guess the lighter line drawing is what's existing now. And it clearly shows that you're staying within the footprint.
We have a better one showing an elevation.
Okay.
Can you show that, please?
Yeah.
That
Okay.
goes over the existing.
Mhm. And I just want to ask you a quick hypothetical. If Maryhaven was to say, okay, we want to build on it and stay with these same buildings, or they would have to come in for this variance as well. It's
That's
not-
correct, anybody would.
Right, okay.
Can you show us the existing nonconformity, the lack of depth as
Sure.
required in variance 1? Can you show me where you start your measurement from having a little trouble?
Rob, can you go to, that's fine, right here, this
Okay.
area right here, it's adjacent to Inwood Road, it's 103 feet.
I see now. Understood. Should really be about double that, continuing your pointer lower, correct?
Yes,
Understood. And that existing nonconformity has always been a feature of this lot.
Always.
And this wasn't exasperated, changed, or morphed because of the change of zone that the
Not at
Board of
all.
Trustees? Okay.
This is the perimeter of the property, that's always been the perimeter of the property.
Okay, and it's all one piece, it wasn't, no properties were merged or
Two
anything?
tax lots, but no merger.
Right, but it's always been that way. It's
Yes.
that you know, it wasn't like you were scooping up other lots to make.
That's correct.
Okay. Is there anyone else that would like to ask a question of this applicant?
And if this were to pass, ultimately, there would be a major subdivision that would result in this, correct?
With planning, yes, we went before the planning board for recommendations before SECR. We went before the board of trustees, received SECR and the rezoning. Now we do go to, if we get the variances, we then present our plans to planning to be vetted, as well as all municipal agencies.
And all new tax lots would be issued to each of the 77?
That's right. This is gonna be a condominium, so there's gonna be one master tax lot, but there'll be 77 sub-tax lots.
And Beechwood is a self-managing owner?
It's for sale, we would manage until, once it's sold out, it's managed by the homeowners association. We're all gonna be residents, obviously, of Port Jefferson.
Understanding the topography of the property, will there be any change in the overall slope between like the existing and post-development?
Along Myrtle and Belterre, those areas, no slope at all. The disturbed area is pretty level, so there could be some changes, but it's not substantial. They built on the level parcel. And it's, Kevin, can you go a little specifics on that?
Hi, Kevin Walsh, VHB Engineering. Sure. I do. Yeah, around the perimeter of the property, which is where all the steep slopes are, not touching that. In general, the disturbed area throughout the middle of the property, as Mr. Rosenberg said, is relatively flat. It's got some slope from, I think, east to west. And we'll obviously be working with those slopes to create the roads and the storm drainage and site the buildings and everything else. But from the perimeter of the site, you won't see a change.
Okay.
Mr. Walsh, Mr. Rosenberg mentioned retaining walls.
Mhm.
If number one, are there retaining walls or not? Are they gonna be
Yeah,
required?
there are some retaining walls along Belterre, along the east side, because as he said, there's about an 18-foot to 6-foot change in grade as you proceed along Belterre. So, obviously the buildings are level for all intents and purposes, so to get them situated adjacent to that slope, it's gonna take a little bit of retaining wall work.
Okay, so-
And that allows us to maintain the existing vegetation by using retaining walls. That way we don't have to cut into the slope.
Sir, I'm sorry, sir. I gotta ask you, I apologize.
Yeah, those are the retaining walls we're proposing. There are some retaining walls, existing retaining walls throughout the site, but those are the only ones we're proposing.
And would you be able to see those retaining walls from Belterre Road, or would they be?
No, because Belterre is on the high side of the retaining walls. You would
Okay.
only be able to see the retaining walls from within the development.
Okay. Are there any other questions for this?
There's a proposed sidewalk that connects from High Street, that comes up towards the entrance. Is that depicted on this site plan? I can't.
It's not depicted on the plan. That's the type of thing that we would get into. That's kind of detail we would get into with the planning board at the engineering plans.
Mr. Rosenberg, can you tell us what we're looking at here, please?
Yes. This is a version of the plan which shows the off-site improvements. So the school is on the right-hand side. And
Can you zoom in, please? Thank
the
you.
school is over here. We've agreed to do sidewalks along Myrtle Avenue, going to the site. This site here, we're gonna have a walkway going across that will coordinate into the sidewalk system that goes to downtown. In addition, along Myrtle, we are gonna work with planning to determine if we can do the sidewalk, we're committed to it, but unfortunately, due to the topography, to the extent that we do a sidewalk, we might have to eliminate vegetation. So that's something we'll be discussing with the planning board about it. Hope I answered your question.
Yes.
Mr. Rosenberg, if you can go back to the site plan for a moment. The 35 feet between the buildings, if this board was to see fit to not grant that variance, and you guys would be required to maintain the 53, 52 and a half, that would then require clearing on your part? Am I right to say that?
It would require clearing. It would require us to look into this area right here that we've tried to save. In addition, it would change the product mix that we're discussing with Catholic Health and affect that contract.
Right, but I'm just talking about this. Right now, your goal is to minimize the amount of removal of vegetation.
That's correct.
So that-
Wherever we can, we're trying to keep trees.
So if the board was to not grant the variance for building separation, then you'd be required to either spread out more to meet the 50, between the buildings, spread out 53 feet per building, therefore indicating that you would probably have to either ask for a larger variance along Belterre and Myrtle and go into that corner that you just pointed out.
Yes, or even at the northeast corner, that area is vegetation currently. We would have to take advantage of that space, of all the space we could to provide for the 35 feet.
Or reduce the number of proposed units.
Well, we have a grant of 77,
Right.
and with all due respect, that is based upon contract. You could always reduce the amount of units, but that would be, could be a death knell to the deal.
And Mr. Rosenberg, you realize that I know you've had some conversations with planning, but I'd be remiss in not saying this to you. After us, you're actually gonna go to planning, and they're gonna do a full review of, I know they've looked at the project already, but now they're gonna do a full review of the project.
Absolutely.
So there may be the possibility that you might have to come back to us if there was a change of such monumental proportions.
The purpose was to come here first to get the variance to set the ground rules so we could discuss with planning. If we get that, then we go back to planning, and if we can't build what we say we're gonna build, and we go back to the board and it can't work, we would have to come back here. But I would just like to just bring up one point, is that we've been in contract with Catholic Health Services for now 3 years. And we are on our third extension of time. And I can't tell you whether there's another extension of time there or not. I could tell you that Catholic Services calls us every day for the status.
And I'm not pushing for any
I understand.
I have to,
I understand, I just
you know.
wanted to make a point.
Yeah, so is there anyone else that would like to ask a question or comment on this application?
None.
All right.
Mr. Chair, if I can, I'd
sure.
like Mr. O'Connor to
Yep,
speak.
I'm gonna have some people come up, sure.
Thank you.
Cindy, for the record, we're gonna make the submission that Mr. Rosenberg gave us an exhibit. The letters of support will make another exhibit. And I'll give you everything I have at the end of this, so we'll have it for the file, if you don't already have it.
Good evening. I'm Jim O'Connor. I'm the president of St. Charles Hospital.
Can you just be sworn in, sir?
Sure.
Good evening, Mr.
Good
O'Connor.
evening. So I just wanted to just voice my support that these variances be approved. As we've talked about, this project has been going on for multiple years. One of my biggest concerns is being the owner of the property has been all of the destruction on the property with adolescents, with the police having to be called. It remaining a vacant piece of property, and given the topography, I'm not sure that it would, it could be used. I'm not sure that it could be used for some other type of use. So I'm just very, very concerned that this, as I said, we had multiple issues, having 24-hour security, And even in spite of that, having the police there almost on a daily basis with kids breaking into the old school, being on the roof of the school, and it's just not feasible. And my concern is somebody's either gonna get hurt or killed at some point. So I'm just asking that we move this project ahead. There is also a significant financial concern for the hospital to continue programs, and we've been trying to move this along for now well over 2 years. So anything we can do to make that happen, I'd be very supportive of.
Thank you,
Okay?
sir.
Thank you.
And just for the record, Mr. O'Connor represents the owner of the property, or essentially is the owner of the property.
We are the owner of the
Yes.
property.
Is there anyone else that would like to come forward and speak on this application? Is there anyone else? Please come forward, sir.
Mine. Just like that. My name is Phil Velasquez. I live at 18 Dickerson Court in Port Jefferson. That's one of the units in Canyon Creek.
Mr. Velasquez, you are the, from the letter I have here, you are the president of the Canyon Creek HOA?
Yes, I am.
Thank you, sir.
I recently submitted a letter of support for the applicant's request for the four variances. Like Mr. O'Connor said, well, first of all, Canyon Creek has 10 buildings in it. It's in a circular, semicircular design. 5 of those buildings are directly on that southern border. That property has been vacant for 5 years. I've been president of the Homeowners Association for over 5 years. It's one of those cases where nobody else wants to step up, so I have the office for perpetuity.
I'm on an HOA, to feel your pain.
But periodically, I will get a call from the residents in one of those buildings telling me about damage. I myself live in one of the buildings that adjoins the southern border of the property, and I've actually gone into the property to chase kids away. So we started talking to Beechwood a little over 2 years ago. Our initial reaction to their proposal at that time was negative. We actually went to the public media and voiced our concerns, and that's when Mr. Rosenberg and his associates started talking to us. We walked the property with them, and together we came up with, well, they came up with a design that met our concerns. And what we found is that they've been very accommodating to our requests. They listen to us, and we look forward to having their development as a neighbor. We fully encourage the board to approve the requested variances.
Okay. Ms. Velasquez, just hold on one sec. Rob, can you bring site plan, please? Yeah, just, so Mr. Velasquez, you obviously, but just for the record, you realize in the bottom of this site plan, bottom of this picture that you're seeing, those will be the back of units that will be butting up to Canyon Creek. There is a buffer, and for the record, doesn't show on there, but there is a buffer. You guys are comfortable? You guys have no issues with that? Or you've seen this plan before?
We have seen this
Okay.
plan before, and actually, there's some trees on our side of the fence that
I just,
For-
for the record, I wanted to have this
for
conversation.
7 or 8 months it hides the
Right.
the
I-
development.
Like I said, I just wanted to, since I had you in front of me, I wanted to ask the question.
Okay.
Thank you, sir.
There's no road connection between your community and this parcel as it exists today, right?
Not at all. No, we only have one entry, and that's on Inwood Road.
Any other questions? Thank you, Mr. Velasquez. Is there anyone else that would like to speak on this application? Is there anyone else that would like to speak on this application? One last time. Okay. Is there anybody on the board that would have any other further questions on this application based on public comment?
No.
Seeing none and hearing none, I'm going to make a motion that we close this hearing. Do I have a second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried.
Thank you for your time.
You're
Appreciate
welcome.
it.
Thank you, everyone, for coming out. I appreciate it. You have a nice evening.
We have one more on the agenda, don't we?
Oh, I'm sorry. I got one more on the agenda.
Well, it's a work session.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah,
It's on for decision.
Yeah, just work session.
yeah, work session. Yeah, I was going to say, it's not public. We closed it. We held it over.
Yes.
Yes, we held it over.
Sorry.
No problem. You had me, I'm like, I knew there was another item on it.
Yeah.
Thank you. Opposed?
Hi.
Carried. All right. Let's talk about, Jane. Anybody have any questions or comments about the Jane Street
So
application?
Jane,
No.
so
I
that's
don't-
what's up on the screen now, right? Is that what we're looking at? Okay,
Yes,
just wanna
it's
make
The
sure.
wraparound porch.
I don't necessarily have an issue with it.
Wait, is that?
Well, that's not Jane.
No, it looks different.
That's different. That's
Yeah.
that's not it.
Dan, throw up Jane.
Throw Jane up there for a second.
That's Caroline.
Yeah,
Yeah.
gotcha, okay.
So,
Here we are.
So Jane here, I don't necessarily have a problem with because the roof over porch is still further out than, so they've always had this variance, so to speak. They've, they got a CO with it, with the property.
Yep.
So that roof over the porch has been there. I looked at the CO when I went through the applicant, when I had the submission. So, that being said, I don't necessarily have a problem with it because it's really to the street. 30 feet is not egregious, so I don't necessarily have an issue. Does anybody else have any
I
issues?
just don't understand what the appeal would be to doing that. I mean, why not? I just.
I'm not here to
Yeah,
question their
I know.
design
Their
choices.
taste.
It's
Yes.
almost, yeah, it's almost just difficult to.
So if you saw the design and what
Yeah,
they
yeah.
had when he did the rendering, it looked
Yeah.
as though they were creating a social space for the
Right.
house on,
Yeah.
and so it looks like
Or
it
dining
will
room or
be, yeah, like a dining setting was the way that they had it designed, so they're creating an
Right,
outdoor
right, right.
living, dining space
Right, there we go.
cohesiveness.
Right. That connects to the addition to the
Right,
front
the
covered
rating
porch.
there.
So
Yeah.
it
Right.
makes sense when
Mhm.
you see, the addition
And
is a part.
it's a tiny house. I mean, based on the dimensions that
Yeah.
it gave,
Yep.
it was a tiny house. I think it's, 1,000 square feet, but it had 2 floors.
Yep.
So maybe about 1,600, so.
Can we just zoom in a little bit further? I can't, I just like to know what it says. I guess. Okay, now, yeah, what does it say? New track, okay, yeah, existing, right, okay. Highly recommend. Okay. Yeah, just,
Right, and if you look at, the roof over porch that they're redoing, you
Mhm.
see the columns already,
mm-hmm, Right.
those are staying in place. They might be replacing them, but.
It's less than a variance that was already granted for them to receive their CO.
Right.
right. And another staircase there, right? Is that what that is? Riser coming down, yeah.
And it's not as though it's substantial off of the ground, creating, a visual.
Right. This is a type 1 action under SEQA. Type 2, need to, wait, do I have the right one? I'm looking at, Myrtle, that's why, okay. That makes sense. I was wondering why that didn't say. All right.
Like what the?
Sorry, all right, hey, Dan, you have SEQA classification type 1, type 2 on this, so. Should just be a type 2 type,
Some pages
Right,
says
none
type
list.
2.
right, but it says type 1, type 2, right? Am I reading the right?
On the-
Am I looking at the right one again? Yeah, right. Am I reading this? This is type 1, type 2?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
No, he does.
All right.
You're right, it wasn't edited.
All right, so it's a type
It's a type.
Type 2.
Type 2, all right. For the record, it's a type 2. Dan will make the correction to the report. Okay. Jim, don't leave, because I want to just talk to you about Beechwood. Whether an undesirable change would be created, there's a ton of wraparound porches in the village, so I don't think that's an issue. Whether
And in this neighborhood.
Yes, yes. Whether the benefits sought by the applicant be achieved some other method, he's connecting them both. If he put a walkway there, I don't, short of removing the deck and just leaving the paved walkway there, I think he's achieving the same thing, just more appeal.
Yep.
Whether the variance is substantial, it's 25, technically 25%, but I don't think it's substantial. 30 feet is more than enough. Whether the proposed variance would have an adverse impact on the physical and environmental conditions, obviously no. Whether the difficulty was self-created. I don't think it was self-created because you already have the house had that roof over porch, so he's not exasperating something that's there.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, technically, everything is self-created by asking for it.
Right,
But,
right.
you know, I don't think it's an issue here. If nobody has any questions or comments on that, I'm gonna make a motion that we approve. Let me make sure I just get this right. I'm not getting it right lately. Make a motion to approve the variance for 103 Jane Street for variance pursuant to 250 attachment 3 of the bulk parking regulations, where a 40-foot setback is required in the RB2 district. They are looking for a deck with an approximate setback of 30 feet from the stream, requiring a 10-foot variance. Make a motion that we approve that variance. Do I have a second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried.
Tracy?
All right, so, do we want to go to Beechwood, or do we want to do Caroline? You guys tell me.
Caroline's got a amended, all of it are amendments
Right,
to
there's a
that.
lot to it, right. All right, so let's stay
Let's
with,
go to Beechwood.
all right, let's go to Beechwood. There's 4 variances here. One of them, as far as I'm concerned, is kind of a no-brainer. It's an existing non-conformance. They didn't exasperate anything.
Yep.
They're keeping a large buffer from that. And if anyone else had the property, you know, it's not like they merged lots or anything, so I don't think that's the issue. I think the biggest issue out of the 4 variances is really the building separation. However, I think they mitigated a lot of that by going to every development,
Showing that they
including
all
the
have
one
pretty
across
much
the
the
street.
same,
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, so
Both across the street.
both
Yeah.
across the street. So,
And if you want to include more space between the buildings, you're either going to make the setbacks worse, because now you're going to
Right.
span things out, or
Right.
you have to decrease the number of units, which is probably
that
not
makes it
feasible.
financially not
Exactly.
feasible. And like you said, spreading them out is only going to cause them to do tree clearing.
Right.
Which is a whole nother.
Exactly.
Their whole point in doing this the way they did is they're maintaining the existing footprint. I don't think it would be, from the Belterre side, I don't think it would be they're gonna keep the buffer. Listen, even with the buffer, you still see through, but I don't think it's any worse. I mean, they're still maintaining, I think they
Well,
require 75.
that's with the existing buffer, but they discussed planting projects, so,
Right,
you
right.
know, what it will be visually at that time,
Right.
we don't know. And again, the
They're,
separation of the buildings is gonna have more of an adverse effect for the occupants of
That's
the
correct.
building
Yes.
That's
than
right.
it will be for the surrounding properties.
but I don't even know it's an adverse effect for the occupants, because you look at all the properties that have separations, there's a lot of 35 feet, even
Well,
less than
that's,
that.
Yep.
that's what
That's what he was saying.
Right, well, that's what I mean. It's
their,
not- right.
their evidence was done well.
Yes, very well. So,
And
Jim.
Village Vista's having 3-foot separation in
I
the
want to see where that
buildings.
is. Yeah.
That was staggering.
Yeah.
so
3 feet. I mean,
There-
just stick your arm out.
Yeah, for a 1.1
let me
million.
ask you a question. You can, if, say we approve these, but since they haven't gone to plan, they're going out of their way to kind of do things differently. They came to us before they really went through the planning process,
Well,
which is not the, no-
they did, I mean, obviously before they.
well, they had preliminary planning.
They did go to the planning board.
Right.
The planning board reviewed the plans and then.
Right.
Referral to the trustees.
Right.
About the actual change of zone application.
Right.
And then they were actually scheduled to go to the planning board the last, the first.
Right.
planning board meeting of this month.
Right.
But then things there was some
Right.
issues with some information,
Right.
blah, blah. So that was, so they adjourned that, and so this meeting was up next, so they.
Let me
They
ask you,
were.
let me ask you this question, because it's happened in the past, and I'm kind of playing devil's advocate here. They come in and we grant them a variance for 50 odd feet that they want, so, and then the planning board does all the things they do, and they say, well, we want the street to be another 1.5 feet wider, and we're gonna push the just.
Yeah,
I mean,
yeah, sure,
And now
yeah.
the variance is 50 feet instead of 56, or whatever the actual numbers are. I mean, I'm just talking about the street setbacks.
Right.
Do, I made a point of saying to Rich, hey, listen, you realize if this changes, you're coming back to us. But if we approve a variance for 56 and then they knock it down to 50, say the planning board does, for some reason.
Right.
They're gonna have to come back in front of us again.
Yeah,
Either and ask for
yeah.
amendment, or we have to
Right.
issue them a whole new variance. I'm not really sure how that
It would
process
be,
would
right,
go.
there's some, I've seen it, and some municipalities will allow the planning boards to do, a very minor, like a 1-foot type variances to keep them complying with.
Yeah,
the
but
site
I'm
plan.
not-
I don't think we have that in our code.
And like I
so-
said, I'm not looking to jinx it, I'm just saying that we have seen that here. We've seen them
Yeah, right.
tweak and
Oh,
then all of a
good.
sudden that 10-foot variance, that's fine by code, is now
Sure,
8.5, and now they need a variance, and now they're back in
Right.
front of us.
And I think that was,
And
he did, like I said, they were scheduled to go to the
Right.
planning board meeting
Well, I
last
just-
week, or January 8th, but then, some issues came up with that. So, no, I think, that'd be good.
I just.
They
that was my-
understand, if they
That
have
was
to
my
come
point of
back,
bringing
they'll
it
have
up,
to come
is that
back.
you're kind of rolling the dice. You know,
Right.
Listen, I don't,
Right.
listen, they're gonna mitigate
Right.
that as much as possible, I'm sure.
Right.
He
but-
referenced it,
Yeah.
that he was before, that they were before us, they were gonna go before the planning
Yep.
board, and may possibly result to come back and before
Right.
us.
Right.
Part of it too, and not to, you have to make your decisions based on planning and the proper zoning and whatnot, but the president of St. Charles was here,
Yeah.
Jim did speak there. And, something that's been continuous is the fact that, they've been going through the planning process for 3 or 4 years now. There was the other
Right.
plan, and it's kind of a continuous mantra that the hospital needs the money. Not
Right,
that,
yeah.
that should be obviously a consideration for this board necessarily, but.
Well, Jim made the, Rich
so-
made that point very clear.
Right,
that they're
right. So
under
I
a
think-
lot of pressure to
I think
push
the
this.
timing, part of the timing to get before this board as soon as possible was, part of that was this, and because my understanding, and I can double check with the general counsel, but I believe if they have the variances from here, I think they're very comfortable with that. There'll be very little change from this point on, and so they'll be looking to close, and then St. Charles Catholic Health gets their money, and, so that is part of the whole process here,
All right, I just.
good or bad,
So,
yeah.
all right.
As long as they're aware that they may.
Yeah, right, of
That's
course.
why
They're
I
big
said,
boys.
that was my point in saying.
Listen,
it,
they have,
was that,
they've,
you know,
as we all know,
Right.
Beechwood, they've got projects all throughout Long Island, and
Yeah.
they know that
not
if
their
there's,
first time
there's-
at the rodeo,
right,
yeah.
it's not their first rodeo, they'll, if they have to come back, they'll come back, but the idea was to try to get this thing,
moving on.
addressed, and, hopefully they close as soon as possible, so, St. Charles Catholic Health gets their money.
Is the type 1 action under secra? They've done their secra and have received a neg deck on it as per the submission. Does anybody have any comments, questions, thoughts?
Yeah, Dan, can you come up for a second? Actually, I have a question about something in our staff.
Take the microphone from Jim, please.
So,
Dapper Dan, yeah.
so in variance,
You want to sit?
We should just wear the
Where it says
mobile
do not
one,
sit,
then
or-
you kind of
Right,
clip on
okay.
the microphone, we could
Oh.
walk
Yeah,
around.
like everyone else, yeah.
Yeah.
Good.
in variance number 2, which is the front yard setback from Myrtle Avenue,
Yes.
if I'm reading this correctly, it's speaking to, second sentence in the paragraph, one proposed residential building is located approximately 56.16 feet. So what they're trying to say is that those are not in a linear fashion. There's one of them projecting, right, a little bit closer to Myrtle along that line. Is that a good way to interpret that, or?
Yes.
Okay.
The one thing I want to clarify for the
Yeah.
record,
It's the
Yeah, I see.
furthest
Yeah.
east.
Yeah, I
It's
see.
that
The top one,
top
yeah.
left unit is the one.
Gotcha.
Right.
That's, so they're using that as their measurement stick to say this is where we are asking for the greatest variance.
But the rest,
Exactly.
the rest of Myrtle conforms, though.
well,
Right.
well, I actually want to clarify one thing. So if you look at the site plan on the screen, not the northernmost building, I guess the northeasternmost, the one that's right next to it, they actually did, and Mr. Rosenberg said this at the meeting tonight, they measured a setback from the patio in the second building that also projects just past the setback line. So they measured, it's interesting, they measured the building setbacks from the rear patios as opposed to the actual building facade. So that 58 feet or so, that's 56.16 feet,
Right.
is measured from a rear patio from from
So the 16.44-foot variance that they are looking for is probably actually closer to 8 feet if we're referencing from the building, not from the edge of the
Yes.
patio.
So the way the staff report's written, it mentions the one building, because that building actually goes past the line. The other one that he mentioned in the meeting tonight, if you look at it, the building actually, I should have gone up there. It basically just touches the corner of it, so the building's actually within it. It's the patio that's extending past. So there's technically two, but it's how the board wants to,
Right.
maybe I'll defer to council on that one.
And again, we're talking about the top of the page, right?
Yes.
Yep.
Yes, you want me to, I can go
Yeah.
up there and zoom in if you want
Yeah,
me
if
to.
you can.
Yeah, hold on.
Just for clarity.
I missed Parker already.
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
Okay, that's what I
Hold
was
on.
thinking. Yep, I see. Yep. Right. Oh, there we go.
So look, you see here, the building extends past,
Mm-hmm.
and here it's a patio. So the staff report mentions this building.
But it
We're
was
working
just
on it. So, like, for example, the 103, Jane Street that was just mentioned, the deck was measured because it was attached to the principal building, so
Right.
it meets principal setbacks. I believe, now they don't show it, the elevations here, but I believe, I don't know if they show the elevations of the patio.
But yeah, my question is though, and I think you answered it with the Jane question, it's from the patio, it's the whatever is attached to the building still protruding out.
I
so-
believe, yes.
Okay.
That's the way it's been interpreted, at least
okay.
by building as well, so
Okay.
that's how
So,
this was.
so like in a similar fashion in variance number 3, same situation, this time, we talk about 4
Yes.
proposed.
So if I'll move the screen for you, you can see all 4 of those have the same thing. It's measured from the patio, but it is the buildings that are also cutting into the line here.
I see. Yeah.
Right.
No,
There's
so-
actually, I think, only 4, it's all of the buildings along that line.
Yeah.
Okay.
Exactly, so it's, and again, one thing we mentioned in the staff report, right? There's existing buildings along this facade. Actually, I guess I'll come back to the camera, but there's existing buildings along that eastern side along Belterre Road. The southeastern corner is actually where it's a ball field there. So there's no buildings there, but it is a ball field, so there is development. The western side is about more paved areas and drive aisles currently. And actually in the southwestern where they're developing some of those buildings, that's where the main large scale, I guess it used to be a school, so dormitory for Mary Haven was there. So,
So it's not like it's having a negative effect then on the community because it's already in this
exactly.
state.
It's
Right.
all developed areas, and
Yeah.
I'll confer with that, because like, based on everything.
He
we've seen-
displayed that on his overlay map that they
Yeah.
have provided us, is that there is no additional clearance, and majority of the variances that they're applying for are equal to or very similar to pre-existing buildings that already had those variances granted at one time.
All of these buildings are the same height, right?
30.
Yes, they're all proposed at, 35 feet. So that's where it's taken from. It's one half the height of the building is how the separation is taken from, so.
Well, being that they chose, what did they reference, 13 different developments in the 11777 zip code. And of those 13, the variance that they're looking for of the 17.5-foot variance regarding the separation between the buildings, none of them conform.
Correct.
Yes.
Might want to
know
go
where I
back
am,
and look
we
at the
don't
code and
conform.
see if we need to update that.
The only ones that conform is if you look across the drive aisle, like the interior versus the exterior. Those are the only ones
Yeah.
that don't, are
Right.
past it.
And the neighboring parcels that are within the immediate vicinity are
Right.
some of the least.
Yeah, significantly closer. Like Maple Crest was very
Yeah.
close together.
Yeah.
Oh, it's still, okay. I had those picking up.
Dan, question for you.
What? I'm trying, guys. Is that loud enough?
It really is. It really is. I just wonder what that makes us, but, all
Oh,
right.
boy.
That quote, Dan, question for you as far as the planning board is concerned. I know you deal with them more than we do. Is there any concerns on the planning board side as far as, I know they looked at this, but
Yeah.
is there anything
Has no bearing for us.
I know.
So,
but-
let me, I guess I'll put the planning board in context, right? As Mr. Rosenberg said tonight, the application was, as part of the Board of Trustees coordinated review, there was a formal referral made to the planning board. At the time, the application it was a little bit different. It had 79 units as opposed to 77. It also had a minimum of 25 feet between the buildings as opposed to 35 feet. So it was much more closer. There was a big concern about the intensity at the time, talking about the amount of units, how close the buildings were. There was a lot of comments related to that. There were also comments related about access and drainage, of course, but again, that's more, I guess, would be more on the planning board side. In terms of the variances, there was concerns about the amount of them. At the time, like Mr. Rosenberg said, there were 7. They've since reduced it to the 4, at least shown in this, as part of this application. The building right separation has increased. They haven't seen it yet since all these changes have been made. They were supposed to see it on January 8th. The applicants themselves recused themselves from the meeting, and because the zoning board's review was coming up and they wanted the zoning board to focus on it. The other part of it was that there was a lot of comments in the staff report more about planning sides that were still incomplete, that we requested a lot of materials to be submitted. So they're working on that request as well.
Okay.
So that's kind of where it is right now with planning.
Does anybody have any questions or comments about the 4 variances?
No.
That being said, I'm going to make a motion on each one of the variances. Give me a second, let me get my paperwork out. Here we go. All right. Variance number 1. Pursuant to Section 250, Attachment 3, bulk and parking regulations for residential structures, the required front yard setback for 75 feet in the RM zoning district. The proposed 77 units condominium building is located approximately 58.56 feet from the front property line, requiring a 16.44 variance. The applicant walked through each one of the agendas. I think it appears that the applicant is only building in the cleared areas, so he's not exasperating in the existing situation. I make a motion that we approve this variance. Do I have a second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Are we approving that just on that building structure, or it's just for that whole line there along?
Well, we'll go.
This is for the variance in regards to Belterre Road, so it would
Oh, we're going
be,
backwards, excuse me.
Well, I'm going by how it was advertised.
so variance 1 is for Belterre Road, so it's for all of the buildings
Buildings,
along
right.
that line, because that's a straight,
Right.
that's a straight layout of the buildings along the property line.
I have 4.
You had
yeah.
you have Tracy, who's second?
I'm going to join in
Yay.
In the eye, yeah.
Right. None opposed, motion carried. Second variance, pursuant to Section 250, Attachment 3, bulk and parking regulations for the residential structures, the required front yard setback for structures 75 feet in the RM zoning district. The proposed 77-unit condominium building is located approximately 56.16 feet along Myrtle Avenue from the front property line, requiring an 18.84-foot variance. In this case, Antonio, it's that one top building that was pointed out by Dan. I make a motion that we approve this variance. Do I have a second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried. Variance number 3, pursuant to Section 250, Attachment 3, bulk and parking regulations for residential structures, the lot width in the RM zone district is 200 feet. The current lot width is 105.33 on Inwood, requiring a 94.67-foot variance. This is an existing non-conforming condition. Again, non-conforming condition, not exasperated by anything done by the applicant. It's just circumstantial. It's just the way the property is. The request is essentially 50%, but there's nothing that can be done to mitigate this. So I'll make a motion that we approve this variance. Do I have a second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried. Variance number 4, pursuant to Section 250-15A, Section 2, Part B, Subsection 2, principal buildings to be set apart a distance equal to 1.5 times the height of the higher building. The height of the highest building is 35 feet, requiring distance to be 52.5 between buildings, and they are requiring a 17.5-foot variance for all the exterior buildings. Just for the record, as presented by the applicant, there is, including the units immediately across the street that meet the 52-foot setback. I make a motion that we approve this variance as submitted. Do I have a second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Nay.
Aye.
Motion carried. We had 4 positives, 1 negative. Cindy, just make sure that gets noted, please. Okay. Let's move on to Caroline Avenue. For those of you that remember, don't remember, I barely remember. 127 variant, there was a variance that was mitigated by the applicant. I'm sorry.
So, no, my only question is, so 4 of us heard this. Tracy, you weren't here for this application?
No, I was not.
What's,
Tracy, do you mind just recusing yourself from this? So we,
I just want to make sure we're
I
on,
shouldn't say recusing, you weren't present, so you're not gonna vote on this,
You're
right?
abstaining, yeah.
So there are a number of variances. You'll see, like, right here now, just the applicant went through and did a couple of things. He changed the pool further from the house, eliminating one of the variances, which then increased the relief on another variance, but again, I think it was minimal. We got rid of on the bottom, we got rid of that return to the property line. There was a question about the pool equipment. We consider it passive structure, so we are going to vote on it. They have gravel. It's within a certain amount to the property, to the house, but that's their requirement. That's where they want to put it.
so to clarify, they had 8 variances and now they are applying for 6.
Yes, they mitigated 2 of them, as I just said.
One of the 8, I believe, was a recommendation. It wasn't, is that correct?
Yes.
Yes. One of them, just for the record, by mitigating 1, we've increased
The other,
Okay, just want to make that.
we went from 10 feet to 12.5 feet.
No, I think we went to 7.5 feet. If you look to your right there, up on the screen.
The 7.5 feet requiring a 12.5-foot variance.
Right,
Where
right,
it had
yes.
been requiring a
Yes.
10-foot variance.
Yes, I'm sorry, yes.
But in the name of safety, we thought that was a better trade-off, right? The fact of,
Yes,
Moving it
yes.
from
Yeah.
the house.
correct.
And there was no substantial benefit by leaving it where it was.
Right.
So mitigating a variance is something that we always try to look to do here.
Yes.
Does anybody have any questions or comments?
No.
On the survey here, what are we, these handwritten, are these
Well,
their
that's,
notes?
those are our
their
change,
note-
those are
oh,
the
okay.
things we
Yeah.
requested. Like you see on the bottom where the bubble was,
Yeah.
that used to return to the
Right.
property line. There is one question though, which is this fence that's on the village's property, on Oak Street.
I was gonna add just, yeah, for that fence, they indicated, at least in the record, they submitted a letter saying they would remove it as part of this.
I'm gonna make it a condition that they
Yeah.
do remove it, unless anyone on the board has a objection to that. Which they've already indicated they are, but let's just
Yeah.
condition it.
Yeah.
This was also the driveway that was shared or something, right? Accessing the,
It does have a shared driveway.
Yes, yeah, I can zoom up.
Yes.
It's like a,
Yes, yes, yes.
And they currently have the fence and yard debris on the village property, so that'll all be cleared out when they,
We hope.
you guys could petition it as well.
Yeah.
Put the debris in there as well. and-
Yep.
Yeah.
we're not
have you
exceeding,
walked this property?
Hmm?
Have you walked or seen this property?
I've seen it. I've not been on the fence, at least recently, but on that side. But I have been there.
And there are a number of properties adjacent to this that
That's
have
right.
pools,
that's right.
similar situations. So it's not an uncommon event in this portion of the village.
And the pool equipment, even though it is, close to the principal structure, is actually probably the best location for it
Yes.
when you think
yes.
about the neighbors, yeah.
Yeah, I agree. you know, they're the ones who want it there. You know,
Right.
they're not, it's not like we're forcing it upon them and I agree with you, it is tucked away, it's, you know, you're not gonna see it from the street or from the side.
Yeah, it'll block the noise, yes.
Yep.
So.
We're not exceeding lot coverage here on this lot?
I think we,
Dan?
Just a-
no, I'm just
It just
looking
seems
at
very bulky.
Bueller?
It just-
I agree. I know we
the
looked through it,
orientation
and-
maybe of the way that the structure is on the
Bueller?
lot, but it just seems, when you see it visually.
I know we've gone through and it was very close, but I believe they were under. I just don't have they haven't provided it. I'll indicate in the record. I know we
Scary.
measured it internally, but
Yeah.
that's, we probably
The
have to call.
condition is that it's confirmed that it does not exceed.
And if it does exceed, they'll probably have to come back for,
For variance for
yes,
lot coverage.
for lot coverage.
So the 7.5 feet that changed, remind me again, they shortened the length of the pool? Is that what they did? They kind of?
No, we
just moved
No,
it
the distance from the.
Yes.
From the
yeah.
house.
Shifted the
Yeah, I
pool
remember
away
now.
from the house.
I remember now, that's right, because we were too close to
That's
the
right.
back.
Yes.
To the back door.
Yeah.
Any questions or comments?
No.
No, I thought.
Anybody have any issues with this, or we'll move forward with the variances? Bueller? All right. Variance number one, pursuant to section 250-11, section C, subsection 3, part A, swimming pools must be set back a minimum of 20 feet from any property line. The proposed pool, approximately 20 by 48, is located approximately 7.5 feet from the southeast property line, requiring 12.5 foot variance. This is a result of pushing the pool to the required 10 feet and getting rid of that variance. I have no issue with it. If there's, I make a motion that we approve it. Do I have a second on it?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried. Variance number two, pursuant to section 250-11, section C, part 3, subsection A, swimming pools must be located in either a rear or side yard. The proposed pool 20 is located in the required front yard, which is not permitted. Again, this is a property that fronts on 2 streets and has 2 front yards, technically. We've seen this before in the village several times. I have no issue with it, especially from the street. I can't see the number, but it's pretty significant. So I make a motion that we approve this variance. Do I have a second on that?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried. Pursuant to section 250, attachment 3, bulk and parking regulations for residential structures, the required front yard setback for structures is 40 feet in the RB2 zone. The proposed pool, 20 by 48, is approximately 25 feet from the southwest front property line, requiring a 15-foot variance. Again, I just said that the 25 feet was good. We're going to put a fence around it. There's going to be a retaining wall. I make a motion that we approve it. Do I have a second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried. Variance number 4 has been mitigated, so we will not be voting on that this evening. Variance number 5, pursuant to section 250-28A, section 1, part B, subsection 2, passive excessive structures must be at least 5 feet from the side property lines. Proposed 36-inch retaining wall is located approximately 0 feet from the south property line, requiring a 5-foot variance. That is the one behind the pool where that 7.5 number is.
Right.
Make a motion that we approve that. Do I have a second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
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 Opposed? Motion carried. Variance number 6 was mitigated. Retaining wall, right, okay, this is the one where the retaining wall returned to the property line. Variance number 7, pursuant to 250-28C, section 4, part A, fences may not exceed 3 feet in the required front yard. The proposed 5-foot PVC fence exceeds this limit, requiring a 2-foot variance. This is, again, it has 2 front yards, and the 5-foot is required by New York State law for all pool enclosures. I make a motion that we approve this variance. Do I have a second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried. Variance number 8 was amended. pursuant to 250, Section 250-28A, Section 1, Part B, Subsection 2, passive structures, accessory structures must be located 10 feet from the principal building. The post-swimming pool mechanical is located 2 feet from the building, requiring a variance. This is what we just talked about. They're putting the pool equipment up against the building, but that's their request. I think we all agree that I agree, and Dan agrees that it's in a location, enclosed location. It's better than being out in the middle of the property and having issues with the neighbors. So I make a motion that we approve this variance as amended. Do I have a second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Now, these are all conditioned, Cindy, just listen quick, these are all under the condition that the fence that's currently on Oak Street is removed and placed either removed and replaced on their property line according with code, and all debris associated with that removal of the fence is cleaned up by
The Oak Street on the northwest side of the property, because Oak Street wraps, and there is fencing on both, but that is the fence that encroaches on the village property, as well as any debris, natural or otherwise.
Okay.
But we're not conditioning it on the fact that they actually replace the fence. They can choose to replace the fence if they wish, as long as it's on their property line.
Yes,
But they
yes.
don't, but there's no need to. because
Right,
they-
no.
Yeah, okay.
Unless they need it for code, unless it's for code reasons or things like that. But
Okay.
the fence that's on the village right away has to be removed, and all debris
Yes.
there has to be cleaned up.
Is the neighbor tying into that fence? There, I can't see in the bottom corner. I see double lines coming to a point there.
No, I mean,
No,
it looks
what is
like,
that?
it looks like their fence actually goes
Yeah.
on the neighbor, that fence
Yeah.
goes on the
Yeah.
neighbor's
X goes
property,
over.
so.
Did you want to mention the coverage as well?
And
Yeah.
yes, the third one being
So I wanna
that
verify that
all
too.
these variances are subject to the planning department verifying lot coverage in accordance with village code. Does anyone have an issue with those conditions? Going once, going twice. We are officially adjourned. Thank you, everyone.
I have a
good
question
evening.
for you.
Yeah.